Good morning, everybody. We all know that sound. Great to see y'all. It's been away for a couple of weeks, and happy to come back and see all your bright, smiley faces this morning. Thanks for the warm welcome. So, welcome to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. I'm glad you came today, and it's my hope that you'll find something here that nourishes your heart, it feeds your mind, and grows your spirit. I'm Darren Cote, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Be you a spiritual seeker, an atheist, or a theist, now Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities. It's a community of diverse cultural, racial, and class backgrounds, a community of varied abilities and gifts. Some here find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and still others in great conversation. Whoever you may be, all are welcome in this inclusive congregation. So to newcomers and old friends both, together we say, welcome. At Westside, we're raising the next generation of Unitarian Universalists, and we want them to know that they are an important part of our community. Several years ago, we chose to be radically inclusive and to adopt a multi-generational worship where our services include all family members. So welcome all children and youth of all ages. And to that end, I actually want to point to you to a couple of announcements that were in your order of service packet. We actually have a leaflet that really focuses on the youth. For instance, next weekend, next Sunday, we've got a crepe making opportunity for the Westside youth, 7th through 12th grade. Sounds pretty yummy. And really excited about the following week on the 27th, where we kick off our 3rd through 6th graders community. So that'll be a fun time for them, really focused on their activities. So really neat things happening. Also, 2 weekends from now, we've got an opportunity for volunteer activities in the community with the Fall Fest. Diane Jones sitting in the back. Diane, can you put your hand up? You can speak to her for more information, but it's from 3 to 5 p.m. at Fairmount Park, and games, crafts, giveaways. We're looking for some volunteers. So thanks for that, Diane. And of course, next weekend we also have the Blessing of the Animals. So we're asking folks to send us in pictures, and also maybe the little ones can bring stuffed animals, a favorite stuffed animal. So that should be fun. For those of you who are joining us online or just visiting with us today, if you're not already on the mailing list, we ask that you please sign up by clicking the link at the bottom of the westsideuu.org website. And also a reminder, those of you that are with us in person today, if you could please silence your electronic devices. This morning, the reflection will be given virtually by our Minister Emeritus, Russell Elleven. Now, I invite you to take a deep breath, and from wherever you are, settle in to this sacred space that we create, and let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude, Dil Mano Dil Bero, a Bulgarian traditional arrangement by Vladigerov, performed by Dr. Yuki Kumamoto. Thank you, Yuki. I got my blood going. Our opening words this morning are "Committed to Respond" by Lynn Harrison. An arc of Earth's surface, blue oceans and swirling white clouds taken from space. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world. We join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but of well-being. A world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care. Rising to the calls deep within us and all around us, may we respond today and always with courage and with love. As do many Unitarian Universalist congregations, we begin our time together this morning with the lighting of a chalice. I invite Donald Kennard to come forward and light our chalice this morning. The chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, and it represents the Unitarian Universalist Association, or the UUA. The flaming chalice symbolizes the heritage of the past, the warmth of our community, and the light of hope within this church today. Our chalice lighting words, "The balance we seek," are from Sharon Wiley. A crescent moon in the dark silhouette of evergreen trees against a deep blue night sky. The hours of day and night are in balance. In honor of earth-centered traditions that celebrate this time of year, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and we reflect on the balance we seek in our lives, the balance we seek in our hearts, the balance we seek in our world. Our opening hymn is number 163, "For the Earth Forever Turning," in your gray hymnal. Please stand if you are able and so moved, and join our song leader, Linda Ice.
Sing we our joyful song.
Please remain standing and join me in our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to work for justice through action, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. You may be seated. Now we ask that you please come forward if you are young at heart or would like to have a close-up view of our time for all ages, presented by our magnanimous Director of Radical Exploration, Nikki Kennedy.
Good morning.
Afterwards, Nikki, if I could just slide one more thought in, we will get the children back to their seats with number 162 in the gray hymnal, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." It's all yours, Nikki.
Thank you. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit this morning. Good morning. Hey, y'all are getting better on the first one. Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, yesterday I was up at the church. I was up here, and I saw Sue Anderson digging in the garden. And she was talking about dirt and flour and weeds and the watermelons that had been grown this summer. And there's a few more green beans out there. And it started making me think about soil. So soil, as the dictionary defines it, is that very upper layer of dirt that the plants grow. Have you ever played in soil? Have you guys ever planted anything in dirt? Yeah. Sometimes it's black or brown. It has a lot of organic stuff in it. It has clay. Sometimes it's rocky. But it started making me think soil is kind of like community. There's 3 main mineral components in soil. There's clay, there's sand, and there's silt. There's also a little bit of organic matter made from decayed plants and from animal material. When organic matter is really broken down, when it's like old and gets squished, it just can't decompose anymore. It's called humus, which is the root word of human. In addition to minerals and organic matter, there's billions and billions and billions of microorganisms in our soil. And microorganisms are like tiny little pieces of bacteria or fungi. You know, the microbes are so small, we can't even see them with our naked eyes. We have to use special tools to see them. But all those things together, make up the community of the soil. So, just like humans, we need to get certain nutrients from things that are around our body, like food, to stay healthy. So do plants. What do you think are things that plants need to grow? Amelia? Sunlight, that is an excellent one. What else, Tao?
Well, of course it's going to be water. That's one of their main things.
Of course it's going to be water, because that's a main thing. That's right. That's right, Amelia.
And without those, and it can't live without dirt, because then, well, where would it grow?
That's right. And you know what else? It also needs air. Do we need air?
Yes.
Let me hear you breathe in some air. Wow, don't freak out. Just take a good breath. Just take a good breath. That's good. So luckily there's a system that uses the microbes, those little bitty billions and billions of pieces in the soil. They break down minerals and rocks, and they capture nutrients from the air. Because you know the air is not just oxygen, right? There's lots of stuff in it. And they use the nutrients to help feed the plants. This is happening all under the soil's surface. So can we see all this happening on the surface? No. Do we know it's happening? Yeah. So there's cooperation, right? Things are working together. Things are working together that we all don't always get to see. Like a community, we don't always get to see everything that's happening or that's going on. Have you ever heard of a plant that's annual? Have you ever heard of an annual plant? Do you know what annual means? Yearly. Thank you, Riley. Yes. So if plants are annuals, that means they won't come back next year. And the community system will have broken down, and next year's crop will be different. And sometimes it takes a long time to restore it. But degradation is preventable, and restoration is possible. It takes a lot of care and learning to see crops, not just simply as products to take out of our land, but as a valuable community resource. And it all starts with soil. Learning to see soil as a lot more than just dirt. You might even think of it as maybe sacred. So there's a soil community, maybe not people that like us, but there's a community in the soil. There's a community in the soil that grows the plants we eat, the strawberries and the watermelons and the beans. What are other things you guys like to eat that grow? Tao, what do you like to eat that grows? Strawberries, I agree. And broccoli. Oh, I like that red and green. Amelia, what about you? Dragon fruit. That's a little bit harder to grow around here. That's true. Say it again. Star fruit. Oh, that's another good one. What do you like to eat, Charlotte? What'd you say? Broccoli. Oh, we have a lot of kids that like broccoli. That's awesome. So when I think about soil as community and all the little pieces that we can see and sometimes that we can't see that give our plants healthy environments, I wonder how you guys are going to be all a part of this community. How are you, young and young at heart, going to help Westside be the best community to grow the best things that we can? I wonder what that's going to look like. I hope you guys all have an excellent week. Thank you.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Good morning. My name is Brenda McKeon, and I am one of your pastoral care team associates. In this community here at Westside, we take time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this in part, each person in this community has value. Each person's experience matters. Members of the team can be identified by wearing one of our pastoral team badges on Sundays. Please submit your joys and concerns by completing one of these forms at the welcome desk, by emailing us at pastoralcare@westsideu.org, or by contacting any one of our members. Our current members are Carol Kappa, Jane Hardwick, Debbie Rake, John Fisher, or Barbara Crotty. If you would please stand if you're or raise your hand if you're one of the members so we can see who you are. We share our concerns with one another today, knowing that our joys come into each person's life, knowing that together we offer comfort, and we have no concerns today. We also share our joys with each other, knowing that joys come into our lives, knowing that together our voices can raise in a chorus of celebration. Again, if you will raise your hand or stand when you get one. Charlie Ford. Last night, I attended the Fort Worth Astronomy Society Star Project at the Tandy Park. For the first time, I attended as a member. I interfaced with really smart people who wanted nothing more than to share their truths. Sound familiar? I hope to bring several of these people into our own community in the coming months as I explore this hobby long-lived on life's back burner. And the next one is from Riley Aiden Lyles. Riley turns 15 on October 17th. Happy birthday. Love his mom. As we hold all of our joys and concerns among us, both those spoken and unspoken, let us sing together hymn number 389, Gather Here in the Glory Hymnal.
Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Good morning. My name is Leo Ty Bennett. I'm a member of the meditation groups here at Westside. I now invite you to relax your mind and body and join in a time of meditation. It will begin with an introduction before we move into a minute of silence. Our Tibetan prayer bowl will sound to signal the start of your own meditation, prayer, or reflection, and it will sound again at the end. Our introduction this morning is Autumn Meditation by Elizabeth M. Strong. Please join with me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. We know the leaves are dying. We know that their blaze of beauty is a preparation for death. It is a time when we appreciate the effort of nature to rise above the ordinariness of life and death. It is a time when we visibly comprehend glory and wonder, and we worship with thanks. We feel now that the air is cold and crisp. We feel now a clearing from the skies of the heaviness of the hazes of summer. It is a time when we appreciate the crispness and sharpness of the realities of life and death. It is a time when we physically comprehend the relief that clarity and insight can bring, and we worship with thanks. We hear now the dry rustle of plants and grasses. We hear now a crackling from the earth that tells of the withering of the fullness of life. It is a time when we appreciate approaching rest from the frantic Yes. I think we can just close it up. And the rest is just a mystery. it be so. Amen.
You know, Leotai and I were talking before earlier this morning, and remarking about how if we just actually could say this meditation a few days later, we actually feel some of that coolness. Today, I think it's going to be like 95. So we just kind of ask you to bear with us. I kind of figured that the meditation ran a little south just because it was, you know, we were tempting the powers that be with our narrative of cool and crisp. Or we just have a page out of order, one of the two. Here at Westside, we practice our UU faith in a variety of ways. One of those ways is by giving 100% of gifts to our weekly collection, unless otherwise designated, to support organizations who carry out our transcendent values of compassion, justice, and equality. Westside's offering for the month of October goes to the Texas Equal Access Fund. TEA Fund is a nonprofit providing crucial support for reproductive health care across Texas. It serves individuals in the North, the East, and the Panhandle regions who face financial barriers to accessing abortion and other reproductive health care. As you may recall, in September of 2021, Texas banned abortions up to about 6 weeks of pregnancy. TEA Fund went into action and began funding abortions outside of Texas. On June 23rd of 2022, TEA Fund staff and volunteers worked intensively to fund all current clients' abortions, as the decision on Roe v. Wade was imminent. With no clear idea on whether TEA Fund could continue funding out-of-state abortions legally, it paused operations at the close of June 23rd of this year. Cindy Fountain, our own Cindy Fountain, was a volunteer that day, and she remembers all day it was an incredible collection of compassion and action. I was both grateful and devastated at its conclusion. But thanks to an injunction from a federal court in February of 2023, TEA Fund resumed funding out-of-state abortions, and recognizing the broader impact of abortion bans, including the effects on pregnant people not seeking an abortion, it has expanded programming to support Texans in various aspects of their reproductive lives. Now I go searching for the rest of that. I bet you. So, as Leotai said earlier, the mystery continues. I'll have the rest of that for you if you want to come up afterwards. I apologize, I don't have the rest of that page. But I do have a number by Yuki Kumamoto called The Eagle Soars, which we're going to listen to. The Eagle Soars by Melody Bober. Thanks, Yuki. We thank you so much for putting up with our little right turn this morning. And Leotai, sorry about that. We'll get it right next week. But we thank you so much for putting into practice the spiritual virtue of generosity. Our giving connects us to the wider web of the community. And we also thank you for keeping your stewardship commitment current to keep our congregation's important work going. Our reading today is number 551, Earth Teach Me, from the Ute Indians of North America in your gray hymnal. Please read the italicized words aloud. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light.
Earth, teach me suffering as old stones suffer with memory.
Earth, teach me caring as parents who secure their young.
Earth, teach me courage as the tree which stands all alone.
Earth, teach me limitation as the ant which crawls on the ground.
Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky.
Earth, teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the fall.
Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring.
Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life.
Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain.
And now I'm pleased to bring to us virtually our reflection by Reverend Dr. Russell Elleven.
Out and said, I worry about a lot of things, the man said, but I don't want to have to worry about money. Your job will be to take all the money worries off my back. I see, the accountant said. And how much does the job pay? I'll start you at $80,000, the man said. $80,000, the accountant exclaimed. How can such a small business like this afford a sum like that? That, the owner says, is your first worry. If I'm honest, I continue to worry about things that are unimportant. But I also worry about many things that are very important. And there are many, many things to be worried about today. There's no use in trying to name them all. To name everything that is worrisome today would probably be a useless exercise. But there are some things today that need our immediate attention. There are some things that need to be rectified right now. And I believe there is one thing we need to focus on above all of the others that cause people to care and to worry. The thing that worries me most amongst all the worries I have is the health of our planet. My belief is that without a healthy planet that can sustain the lives of all beings, nothing else matters too much. If the resources we rely upon every day begin to dwindle to the point of scarcity, the things we collectively and individually worry about will become moot. And my biggest fear right now is that we are too close to the point of no return with regard to climate change. A fear which is exacerbated by every weather event we have recently experienced, or more likely witnessed on the evening news, that we could very well be doomed no matter what we do at this point in time. Admittedly, this worry in me is likely more acute right now. Just a few days ago, I was watching a recording of the previous evening's Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I love the show and think Colbert and his staff do a wonderful job helping people like me understand what we need to worry about in an educational and humorous way. And on the episode I was watching, Colbert had Dr. Jane Goodall on the program for an interview that was as delightful as it was dire. Goodall was calm and collected in the interview, but she is worried too. She's worried about what will happen when everything we've come to take for granted becomes less and less available, and how human and non-human animal populations might soon be in a battle for finite resources. And she says something out loud that many of us have wondered for some time, that whether or not climate change is caused or exacerbated by human beings doesn't really matter that much. Climate change is a reality, and why would we not work together, no matter our beliefs about the cause, to bring about remedies for the current climate degradation? But I've also been thinking about this issue more because of a program I've been working on with the Unitarian Universalist Animal Ministry. Today at 3 p.m., the UU Animal Ministry will be hosting its annual virtual celebration of the animals, and the main speaker will be Silas Rao, who is the executive director of an organization called Climate Healers. The talk Dr. Rao will be giving is titled The Greatest Transformation in Human History. And if interested, you can still register for the program at uuam.org this morning. But working on this program has had me thinking much more about humanity's relationship with the earth. So I'm working on this UU Animal Ministry program, and I'm seeing Jane Goodall speak so eloquently on Colbert, and these experiences are coalescing for me. And on top of that, I was also reading a book titled Climate Grief: From Coping to Resilience and Action by Shauna Weaver. It's a very interesting book, and in it, Dr. Weaver develops the concept of climate grief, which is generally defined as the emotional experience of losing a predictable, sustainable climate. In this book, Weaver addresses several interesting facets of climate grief and gives some ideas about how people who worry about the Earth's well-being might sustain their efforts and continue the fight that will likely last for some years into the future. Now, to be quite honest, several of the things Weaver offers as support are things we've probably heard before. Things like getting enough sleep, eating a nutritious diet, and taking care of our own mental health. After all, it's reasoned, how can we be effective advocates for the Earth if our own well-being is compromised because of our advocacy efforts? It's difficult to care for others, Weaver reminds us, when our own lack of well-being makes it difficult to do so. And Weaver reminds us of the stages of grief that became so prominent after the publication of the book On Death and Dying by the renowned psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Kubler-Ross identified 5 stages of grief experienced by people who were actively in the dying process. You likely remember these 5 stages of grief. They are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Today, many grief therapists are less inclined to look at the grieving process through the lens of Kubler-Ross for a variety of reasons. Yet I think because of the overall popularity of the model with the general population, Weaver uses that to her advantage and reminds us of a couple of things I find striking. The first stage in the Kubler-Ross model of grief is denial. And Weaver argues that almost all of us are in denial when it comes to climate change. Most of us do not understand what is likely coming our way as the Earth's climate continues to warm up. And we deny how climate change is already affecting hundreds of thousands of beings right now, and how dire the consequences of inaction are. To deny that the Earth's climate is changing is dangerous. If we deny climate change, we will likely do little about it, and the whole world will suffer in ways we probably don't yet understand. It's literally to our peril that we deny climate change. But perhaps the only thing more dangerous than to be in denial of climate change, as most of us are, argues Weaver, is to slip into acceptance, the final stage of the Kubler-Ross model of grief. To accept that climate change is inevitable is, I think, to accept defeat. It is to say there is little to be done and there is little I can do to help. It's an understandable stance because climate change is such an enormous issue. But this, I also believe, is a struggle we cannot afford to lose. And so I worry. I worry about how this will all turn out. I worry that the next generation will be confronted with more difficult climate decisions, and the generation after that will be confronted with circumstances they could have avoided if we didn't deny the reality of climate change and or accept the inevitability of our collective demise. Neither of those possibilities seem like real options to me. But what I love about, and I mean absolutely love about Unitarian Universalism, is that together we seem to worry about many of the same things. We are concerned about societal issues. We are concerned about identity issues. We are concerned that people who are underrepresented have a voice. We are concerned about democracy and voting rights, among many other issues. We are rightly concerned about these issues. And with almost each and every one of our concerns, there is an organization within or affiliated with the Unitarian Universalist Association that attempts to address these issues of concern. Even though Unitarian Universalism is relatively small in numbers nationally, we still have the ability to support one another as we advocate for these issues inside and outside our congregational walls. And on the issue of climate change, for instance, if you are interested in working with other UUs, there is an organization called the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth. Some of you know about this organization through Westside's efforts years ago to become a green sanctuary. But just this past month, the UU Ministry for the Earth sponsored an event called the UU Climate Justice Revival. And the revival gives me hope about this thing I worry about quite a lot. Westsiders and other congregations can still access the program by going to uuclimatejustice.org. Unitarian Universalism is a small but mighty religious faith that isn't perfect, but continually makes me proud. We think about, and some of us worry about, big issues that are important and pressing today. And we don't just worry about these things, we do our best to do things and to help others do things to address these pressing issues. And that's why we need this congregation of ours to survive. That's why we need Westside to thrive, to be a voice of reason and hope in a place that often feels unreasonable and hopeless. There is a reading in our hymnal attributed to the Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale that says, "I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." That, to me, is the essence of our faith. We come from and are still representatives of a religion that is based on doing something in the here and now. And for the love of justice, we must do something about climate change. Denial, nor acceptance, nor simply worrying offer us little hope. We must do the something we can do. And I want to do those things with the lovely people of Westside. As we rise, embody our spirit, and join together in the singing of our closing hymn number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Let's please sing the first 3 verses.
Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faith a quest to
Our closing words today are a quote from Henry David Thoreau. You must live in the present. Launch yourself on every wave. Find your eternity in every moment. Fools stand on islands of opportunities and look toward another land. There is no other land. There is no other life but this. The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds, in the hearts and souls of each of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, those you love, and most especially those you have yet to meet. And please, join me in the congregational closing. Go in peace, seeking justice. Go in peace, committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. Go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.